Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Ultima 6, The False Prophet. In our last episode, the Avatar and his companions had made their way southwards to the town of Trinsic, the City of Honor. And, luckily enough, almost as soon as arriving in town, we found the Rune of Honor, and we also found the Mantra of Honor. So you'd think we were pretty much done, but I think we still need to look around the town a little bit and talk to some people, find out a little bit more about what's going on here. But before we do, let's head north out of town for just a second. As you may remember from our previous episode, along the roadside here was a band of gypsies. And one of them, that's this gentleman here, is named Arturos. I forgot to mention in our last episode that Arturos is another one of those characters who's based on a real-life person. In this case, Jeff D., one of the artists who worked on Ultima 6. So, that would be cool to point that out. Anyway, let's get on with the game. So, the town of Trinsic, being the town of honor, is also the hometown of our friend Dupree, the paladin, who, as you can see, is here next to us. We're going to move this guard over here. There we go. Our good friend Dupree, who is the companion associated with the virtue of honor. This is his hometown. It's the town of paladins. Now, we've already been over here. We've already talked to the mayor of the town, Lord Witsaber. So let's go ahead and look and see who else is here. Looks like there's a horseshoe on this building. And nobody seems to be home, so it's possible that everybody's right now having lunch. If we notice, the sun is up here in the center of the sky, so yeah, looks like everybody's here in this tavern, so we'll start here. You see a small, fussy-looking man. Welcome to the Fool's Paradise. What's your name, sir? It's Lawrence. And what is your job, Lawrence? I sell grapes, ale, mead, wine, and rations. Okay, so if we run out of food at any point, we'll be able to come back here and talk to him. Other than that, we really don't have much to say to the owner of the pub here, so we'll move on our way. Goodbye. You see a sultry, dark-skinned woman dressed in riding leathers. Hello, strangers. What can I do for you this afternoon? Well, what is your name? Some call me Emmanuel, my lord. Others call me something else. She winks at you. Something else. Perhaps sometime I will show you. Not here. I'd hope not. What is your job? I raise horses here in the stables. I also sell horses if you wish to buy one. Okay, so she's the person who worked in the store that we went into. So if we need any horses, we can always go to her. Come back again soon. As you leave, she blows you a kiss. And we'll see who this gentleman is here. Sherry was actually standing on top of him, so let's get out of this conversation. Move out of the way here. Oh, that was actually YOLO sitting in that chair. Excuse me. You see a charming fellow with a peacock feather in his cap. Welcome, welcome! 'Tis always a pleasure to see a new face. My name is Mandrake, and what may I call thee? I am attentive. Well met, sirrah. You look like the sort who knows how to enjoy a good story. Story, you say? Perhaps my stories would be worth a few coins. Sure. How much do you give him? We'll go ahead and give him 5 gold coins. You're too kind. Mandrake tells you tales for quite a while, yet listening to them you lose track of time. He tells you of ships sailing off the edge of the world, of earthquakes and mad wizards and fierce battles. He speaks of spells that halt the flow of time, a man who found a way to fly, and the strange secret of the wisps. He tells you that there are 2 bands of gypsies who travel the King's Way, who are often mistaken for each other, and we're well aware of that from our last episode. He speaks of the pirate ship Empire, which was much dreaded in its day, and of the giant ants that can be found in the dry land. Your head is filled with wondrous visions. But finally he notices that Dupree has begun to doze off, and decides to bring his tales to an end. Let's ask him about his job. I travel all over to spread important news throughout the realm, and tales and songs as well. If you have time enough, I'll favor you with all 3. Well, let's talk to him about the news. My travels were interrupted recently in a most fearsome manner. I was captured by the gargoyles and taken down to the other side of the world where they held me prisoner. But such was my good fortune that one of them helped me to escape. He spoke but little of our tongue, but I believe he said his name was Be-Lem. Well, that's interesting. I've seen their handiwork many a time in my travels. I believe they have taken over all of the shrines of the 8 virtues. Yeah, and we know that, of course. Oh, you know, honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality, and humility. That's what you get for choosing such stuffy principles as a basis. Stuffy? Truth, love, and courage. Ha! If it had been up to me, I'd have chosen wine, women, and song instead. Think of the virtues those would lead to. Okay, you gotta tell me more about this. I've thought it over. The principles of wine, women, and song would lead to the 8 virtues of drunkenness, sensuality, harmony, lust, laziness, dance, indulgence, and happiness. Now there would be the foundation for a fine world to live in. This guy seems to know what he's talking about. But he mentioned that the gargoyles' land is on the other side of the world, and at least one of them seemed to not be evil and helped him escape. So that's interesting information. He also mentioned that he knows songs. I sing better if I keep my belly full and my wineskin as well. Would you care to donate a coin or two? We'll go ahead and give him 2. Okay, here we go. The dragon is a scaly sort, who spouts flame when he sneezes. Many a bold knight has he fought, for he goes where'er he pleases. Mr. Porcupine's naught but spines, to the dismay of him and his missus. For that for which he truly pines is one of her sweet kisses. A gypsy girl and a butterfly were out in the woods at play, and when I saw them I said, "Oh my, what a perfect sunny day." Alright, well, we'll go ahead and take our leave of Mr. Mandrake, but he's got some pretty interesting information for us. Well, Attentive, I'm glad you stopped by to chat with me. We must do it again sometime. I'll be glad to play another song for you when next we meet. This gentleman here, we see a tall, muscular man with a solemn look on his face. Welcome, my lord. For what can I do for you? Well, what's your name, sir? My name is Harold. And what is your job, Harold? Horseshoes are my living. Ah, perhaps his was the story went into. I'm noticing that it had the horseshoe sign on it. And of course, as you can see, he sells horseshoes, but we aren't interested in that right now, so we'll go ahead and be on our way. Farewell. And there's Lord Witsaber again. Welcome back, Avatar. We'll go ahead and be on our way again. Good afternoon, Avatar. Return again when thou hast more time to chat. Now up here in the kitchen, there's another gentleman. You see a shifty-eyed man with a strange smile. He smells of rancid grease and cooking smoke. Hello there, my lord. What's your name? My name is Sandstone Angus. Most folks call me Sandy. Nice to meet you, Sandy. What do you do here? I cook for Lord Witsaber. He especially likes my recipe for fish in a white wine sauce. A white wine sauce, you say? It's my specialty. Lord Witsaber, you say? I'd better get back to cooking, excuse me. He mumbles away, he walks away mumbling, excuse me, Magincian pastry. Well, that was a little interesting. He kind of just wandered away from us when we were in the middle of a conversation. Let's ask him about the pastry. I could do you a favor if you did one for me first. Well, sure, what sort of favor? Let's see. A golden orb on a crystal sea, in a box sans hinges, lid, or key. I'll give you one guess to this riddle. Well, if any of us, any of the folks reading have read The Hobbit, or are familiar with similar riddles, you'll know that the answer to that riddle is an egg. Very good. To make Magincian pastry, I require 1 dragon's egg. Only a dragon's will do. A dragon. There's a lair in the dungeon Destard, to the northwest. It's not far. I don't think we're quite ready to go braving the dungeons and fighting dragons just yet, but we'll keep that in mind for the future. If we're ever strong enough to go fight dragons, we'll go get him a dragon's egg and come back, and maybe he'll do a favor for us. Alright, well, it was not, did we ask him his job already? Yes, he cooks for Lord Witsaber. It was nice to meet you, Sandy. Bye. keep that in mind for the future. Let's go see if we can find anyone else in this town. Looks like a guard barracks. If we were to go into this door here, you know, we can access the cannons of the town. But I think I'll show you something really quickly here. Let me go into solo mode. If you notice on the wall here, there's this decorative sword here. That sword can be moved. Let's go ahead and move this powder keg out of the way. You can go ahead and take it off the wall. We'll go ahead and move it out of the way over here. And you can do the same thing with this decorative shield. Now, if you look at the wall, you'll notice it looks very slightly different. I don't know if you can see, I'm moving the cursor here. There's a very tiny square in the wall. Most other walls don't have that. They have longer bricks, but there's a very short brick. That's a way for you to see that there's actually a hidden door here. So if I look at the door, now I see a secret door. And searching here, you find a secret door. Oops. Let's go ahead and move some things out of the way so I can get out of the way here. If I re-enter party mode, we can go explore this little tunnel here. And obviously in a town like this, there's not any great secret to this. This is just a secret way to get to the battlements here. But later on in the game, when we're in dungeons or when we're exploring, you know, certain castles that might have treasures in them, we want to keep our eyes out for that sort of thing. Go ahead and see if this guy's come back from lunch yet. There he is. This is another person we haven't talked to yet. You see a golden-haired young man. Hey, the Avatar! Good afternoon, my lord. You've come to me to aid thee in thy quest. What an honor! What's your name? My name's Brandon, my lord, and I'm honored to meet thee. And what do you do, Brandon? Oh, I'm not important like you. I'm just a weaponsmith, and only a journeyman at that. Aye, just a few years ago I was a simple apprentice. Now I supply arms to all of Trinsic. I have to make weapons to help fight the gargoyles. What kind of weapons? Perhaps you'd like to buy some. I'd be honored to have thee as a customer. I have a large inventory, so be more specific. Dost thou want arms or armor? Let's see what kind of armor he has. And as you can see, he sells magic armor and magic helms. Those are something we're definitely going to want to get our hands on eventually. Now, I don't believe we can afford it just yet. Magic armor costs 350 gold. We can't get that just yet. However, in terms of what arms he sells, he also sells some of the powerful two-handed axes, two-handed hammers, two-handed swords. So if we're interested in getting that, or even just a basic sword for somebody who doesn't have one. So we're going to keep our eyes open. This gentleman's here for later on when we need to buy those items. He seems really eager to help us out. Let's see if he's willing to join the party. That would be a great honor. I'd love to. The man comes to his senses. But no, I can't. I have responsibilities here, especially now. I have to make weapons to help fight the gargoyles. Alright, well, we'll be on our way. Goodbye, Brandon. Farewell. May thy quest succeed, Avatar. We'll go ahead and leave. As you can see, he also has some weapons and armor here behind this grate. Now, if we weren't so concerned with our karma, as you can see, that grate has openings in it. We could send Sherry the mouse in there, and if she was strong enough, she could pick up those items and carry them out for us. You know, somehow a tiny mouse is carrying in her pockets a giant, you know, piece of armor that will magically be able to fit through the cracks, you know. But like I said, if we weren't so concerned with karma, we could steal from there, but we're not going to do that right now. Here we go, there's some docks here. There's Lord Witsaber again. Now, if we look at the map of Ultima 6, and again, if you want to follow along, you can Google do a Google search for Ultima 6 map, you'll see where the town of Trinsic is. The road continues to the south, and then it's going to curve around to the west and eventually reach the Shrine of Honor. Now, we already have the rune and the mantra of honor, so there's no reason really why we shouldn't just go ahead and try to free the shrine. That really is our primary objective at this point in the game. Before we do that, though, let's take a look here. Looks like here's where the stables are. There's Emmanuel again. And over here just to the west, this is the Moonstone Circle, where once the Moonstone of the town of Trinsic rested. But as we know, the Moonstones are all... the Moonstones, excuse me, are currently locked at the shrines. Ah, here's a healer's hut, or healer's house. You see a doddering old woman. Who are ye, and what do you want? What's your name?
Speak up. My name is Tabitha, but you can call me ma'am, youngster.
Speak up. Let's say ma'am.
That's better. Now what did you want?
You said your name is Tabitha, which is obviously hard of hearing. Yeah, she's obviously not willing. There we go. If you say Tabitha enough,
that's ma'am to you, youngster. Respect your elders.
And what's her job? Speaking with her is a bit of an exercise in patience, because half the time she says,
speak up. Job, I'm a mender of the inflicted. If I weren't, why would you be here? Now stop this foolishness and tell me what you want, youngster.
The inflicted. I said inflicted! I said inflicted!
I can heal, cure, and even raise dead.
Okay, well, we don't need that right now, obviously. We're all perfectly fine, so we're going to go be on our way.
Speak up.
Even ending the conversation.
Humph, not so much as a thank you. Well, that's kids today for you. No manners, the lot of them.
Well, let's go ahead and say thank you to her. Assuming she can hear me. Oh my goodness. Supposedly the S speak up is randomly determined, but sometimes you get it a lot like that.
Oh sure, thou art just trying to get on my good side. Well, it won't work.
Well, we're off. So continuing to the south here, let's just see somebody's house. And as I said, the road curves around to the west. And eventually it's going to lead us right to the shrine. It passes through a little forest. And then and you see Shamino says, I hear something to the west. Be careful of that swampland right there. Ah. See if we can go around this. Because we don't want to get poisoned. Now it looks like it's not possible right now without swamp boots. Looks like night's starting to fall. Let's move out away from these those insects that we saw. Let everybody rest for a little bit so we can pass through the night. The sun should be coming up any minute now. I'm just going to pass enough. There we go. Now the sun's out and it's getting brighter out. I want to see if it's possible to pass beyond the swamp by going to the north of it. It honestly doesn't look like it's something we're going to be able to do, and in fact I just poisoned myself. We're going to cast a spell magic on myself, and I'll cure myself. No, it looks like this swamp pretty much surrounds the area we're trying to go to, where the Shrine of Honor is. Ah, no, looks like we might actually be able to... nope. We could do it and you know, just cure ourselves after passing through the swamp. The problem is that's going to waste a lot of our reagents that we could use for other things, like healing spells that we're going to need if we're going to be fighting gargoyles. So for now, we're going to have to hold off on freeing that shrine. But we'll come back to it later. It's not going anywhere. We're going to have to find a good place where we can buy some swamp boots. So leaving the town, if we head to the north, in fact I'm going to do a quick little bit of cheating here to save us a little bit of time. As you remember, the Orb of the Moons, if we place it directly in front of us, opens a red moon gate leading us back to Lord British's castle. We're going to go ahead and ignore Finn again. There we go. Now previously, as I noted, the road also can lead to the west, and if we head that way, it'll eventually lead us to the town of Scarabray. So I'm going to go ahead and get onto the road here, get back to the King's Way. There we go. And if we consult our map, the road basically passes west along the mountainside, along the southern side of the Serpent Spine Mountains. A few twists and turns along the way, and eventually reaches a fork where you can either go to the south or the north, and if we then go to the south again, we'll end up in the town of Scarabray. But first, there's a house here, and it looks like a knight. You see a tall man with muscles looking like huge snakes. "Speak," he growls at you, from his voice as rough and cold as stone. "What's your name?" "Are you taking a census?" His powerful gaze is fixed on you. "A census?" "Yes, you know, counting people, taking down names." "No." "What's your job?" He ignores the question, and you think it wise not to ask again. So he's not willing to tell us his name. He's not willing to ask to answer about his job. Guy doesn't seem to be very willing to speak to us at all, so we'll have to leave for now. He resumes cleaning his nails with his knife. He's not a very friendly individual at all. We'll just continue on our way. Shamino says, "I hear something to the west." And as we can see, apparently there's Mongbats getting wounded over here. There's Mongbats in the middle of a combat, and a fighter, and a swashbuckler. So we're about to walk into a battle, it looks like, that's already in progress. And now they're joining in on it, so let's go ahead and start the combat mode. Looks like a party of adventurers got in combat with some Mongbats. Those are monkeys with wings, basically. I just attacked Shamino by accident. Yeah, it looks like this party of adventurers got into combat with a party of Mongbats, or they were attacked on the road by this Mongbat, but then the party of adventurers attacked us, so they probably weren't very nice people themselves, so let's go ahead and look at the bodies. There's a crossbow, 10 bolts, a curved heater, 20 gold coins and 17 gold coins. Dupre will go ahead and collect the money. I don't think we need that shield, but YOLO can definitely use the crossbow bolts because he has a crossbow. Let's take a look at Dupre's current shield. His shield weighs 3.6 stones and can absorb 3 points of damage. The curved heater weighs slightly less and can absorb 3 points of damage. That's a definite advantage, so actually Dupre's going to go ahead and grab that new shield. Let's go ahead and drop this kite shield, grab the curved heater, and we'll go ahead and equip that. Let's go ahead and look at this body. A sword, a crossbow, more bolts, chainmail, an iron helm, and more gold coins. Once again, Dupre will grab the coins. Let's move some of this armor around and take a look at it. YOLO once again can grab the bolts, but we don't really need an extra crossbow. Chainmail. YOLO could do with some chainmail. As you notice, chainmail, his leather armor only weighs 2.4, but can only absorb 2 points. The chainmail weighs substantially more, but it absorbs a lot more damage. The last thing I want to check is see if Sherry can actually carry that leather armor. And unfortunately she can't, so we're just going to have to leave it for now. A sword, a sling, and a lot of gold coins. And nobody could really use the sling or the sword. The Mongbat had cloth armor. Cloth armor is very light, but it can't do much. Can't absorb very much. It's basically a shirt. A padded shirt. Another leather helmet and more gold coins. And it looks like there was one more body here. Another Mongbat. And this one had a chest. So let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Shield. And Dexron's gonna... I'm sorry, Attentive's gonna go ahead and take a look at the chest. Oh, and it wasn't trapped. So we got some meat and gold coins. Now the final thing we're going to do here, some of these weapons are able to be sold at shops. So we're going to go ahead and grab some of these. And when we get to an armorer, we'll go ahead and sell them. In fact, we might as well do that right now. It's a little bit of backtracking, but we'll use the Orbital Moons one more time to head back to Britain. And since it's still pretty early in the day, we should be able to go meet with the blacksmith. Now, there are other ways to make money in this game. Like I mentioned before, you can steal, heck, you can go steal armor and then sell it right back to the armor. The problem is that it gives you bad karma. It lowers your karma score, and like I mentioned earlier in a previous episode, karma does have important effects on the game. There's certain things in the game, in fact, completing the game requires a high enough karma. You can't win the game if your karma goes too low. So the other way you can make money is by participating in combats like we just saw. Defeating enemies, searching their remains, and winning the spoils of war in valorous combat. Right now the blacksmith's not here, he's probably at lunch, so we're going to have to wait a second. In fact, I'm going to step right here, we're going to pass until the sun moves a little further from the sky. There he is. Hello, it's the Avatar. Hello again. We'd like to sell some of Dupre's stuff, so We know he picked up an extra iron helm. We'll get 10 gold for that. He picked up a bunch of leather armor. And he's got 20 gold coins for each piece of leather armor. I know he picked up at least one sword. We're going to take a look and see what else Dupre has that's extra. We have 2 extra swords. We get 25 gold each. Now the other sword is his, the heater shield is his, as is the iron helm and plate mail, so we're not going to sell any more of those. Goodbye to you, coming back soon, eh? Now, as I said before, once we've been to a location, I'm going to go ahead and be using the Orb of the Moons to return to those locations, just to save on travel time. So before we end today's episode, we're going to make one final use of the Orb of the Moons to a new location. One that I have never shown you before. If we move the Orb of the Moons 2 paces south directly from where the Avatar is standing, it will take us to the Moon Gate of Trinsic. And that's another thing that the Orb of the Moons can do. It can take you to any of the town's moon gates, which are usually located just outside of the city. And now that we're back in Trinsic again, we can talk with this other blacksmith. We'll see, maybe he wants to buy some of our stuff. Max wasn't interested in our leather helms or any of that stuff, or that wooden shield. But maybe Brandon is. Good afternoon, my lord. How has thy quest gone? It's gone well, and glad I am to hear it. Yep, so we can go ahead and sell the extra main gauche that Dupre has. We can sell that kite shield. Oops, excuse me. And then the sword, iron helm, and plate mail, unfortunately, are what he's wearing right now, so we're not going to sell those. So now let's take a look. Let's go ahead and move all the gold back to the crate for just a second. Move this 19 gold to Dupre. We're going to go ahead and use this bag as a place to hold our extra weapons and armor. Next time we go to Britain, I think we can sell this bow and these extra crossbows at Gwyneth's shop. But in the meantime, Dupre has 385 gold, and that's not too bad. If we save up a little bit more gold, I think we'll be able to go ahead and start purchasing some better armor and weapons for folks. So the last thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and use the Orb of the Moons one last time. Head back to the town of Britain, to Lord British's castle. Alright, so we've explored the town of Trinsic pretty thoroughly. We successfully had a combat and got some extra stuff and some more money and some experience along the way. We've run into a bit of a problem, though. We really can't go forward in our quest to free the Shrine of Honor until we get Swamp Boots. And while I'd like to go on to other towns like Scarberry, I feel a little bad about leaving that unresolved. So we're going to have to go on a quest and try to find some better clothing for our characters, clothing that can protect them from the noxious effects of swampland. So we have a path forward. That's going to be our next step in our quest, is finding Swamp Boots. But we'll save that for next time. Until then, I'm Attentive Dragon, and I'll see you guys then.